What if Madara Yuji was reborn with all of his memories? What if an 86-year-old Yuji, carrying the weight of every battle, every loss, got a second chance? Could he rewrite the cruel fate of the original timeline? Could he become strong enough to save everyone he once failed to protect? Or would history repeat itself, no matter how hard he tries? Yuji is reborn. The moment he opens his eyes, it hits him all at once. Memories start flooding his mind like a storm. Every death, every brutal fight, every single moment of the 60 years he spent alone, fighting curses, replaying again and again. The pain feels real. The losses feel fresh. But then, he sees them. His parents, Jin Itadori, and his mother. And in that instant, Yuji understands the truth. He's been given a second chance. This isn't just rebirth. He still has all his memories, which means this time he knows exactly what to do. This time, he can save everyone. Time begins to pass, and unlike before, Yuji doesn't waste a single second. With the mind of an 86-year-old and decades of battle experience, he starts training from a very young age. He already knows his limits. He already knows how strong he can become. So instead of discovering his power, he rebuilds it, faster, sharper, and far more deadly. By the time he turns 15, Yuji is on a completely different level, 10 times stronger than his original self. But there's still one problem. He has no cursed energy, and he knows exactly why. To unlock it, he has to eat Sukuna's finger, just like before. So Yuji follows the same path. He joins the same school, meets the same people, but this time everything is calculated, because he already knows where Sukuna's finger is. So when the moment finally comes, Yuji reaches it without hesitation, alongside his friends. But before eating it, he pauses, because he knows the truth. The moment he swallows that finger, Sukuna will be reborn inside him. And worse, Sukuna might be able to see his memories, everything, every plan, every future event. For a second, Yuji thinks. Then he smirks. Doesn't matter. I won't let him take control, no matter what. And without hesitation, Yuji eats Sukuna's finger. Instantly, a terrifying surge of cursed energy explodes through his body. Sukuna awakens. But this time, something is different. Sukuna doesn't take control. Not even for a second. Because this Yuji is far stronger than before. Yuji then calmly waits, because he already knows what happens next. Soon, Megumi arrives searching for the cursed object. But when he asks Yuji about it, Yuji casually replies, "I thought it was a chicken nugget, so I ate it." Megumi is completely stunned. Nothing makes sense. Why isn't Sukuna taking over? What is this guy? And just when things couldn't get crazier, he arrives. Gojo Satoru. Sensing something unusual about Yuji, Gojo immediately realizes his potential. And just like in the original timeline, Yuji is taken to Jujutsu High. Gojo realizes something terrifying. Using his 6 eyes, he immediately understands Yuji Itadori isn't normal. The level of potential inside him is absurd. So instead of letting the higher-ups interfere, Gojo makes a decision. He'll protect Yuji, and more importantly, he'll train him personally. Meanwhile, Yuji can't help but think, everything is going exactly according to plan. And soon enough, the trio is reunited once again. Megumi Fushiguro, Nobara Kugisaki, and Yuji Itadori. Just like the original timeline, but this time, Yuji isn't the same. Because now he already understands his power. Every technique, every move, every possibility. It's all inside his mind. He doesn't need to learn it. He just needs to unlock it. Not long after, the trio is sent on their first mission, the detention center. And this is where everything originally went wrong. This is where Yuji died. This is where Sukuna took control. And this is where the binding vow was created. But this time, Yuji doesn't need Sukuna. As soon as they encounter the special grade curse, the atmosphere changes. Megumi prepares himself for the worst. But Yuji steps forward, calm, confident, and then he uses Dismantle. Megumi freezes. What was that? Even Yuji acts confused. I don't know. It just happened. But deep down, he knows exactly what he just did. The attack isn't as powerful as in his previous life, but it's enough, more than enough. Yuji rushes in. Blow after blow, he clashes with the special grade curse. Every movement is precise. Every attack is calculated, because he's already fought this battle once before. And this time, Yuji wins. Far away, the higher-ups receive the report. And immediately, they grow afraid. A vessel who can control Sukuna, a sorcerer with unnatural growth. To them, Yuji Itadori is a threat. and threats must be eliminated. But there's one problem. Gojo Satoru, as long as he's around, they can't touch Yuji. After the mission, Gojo decides to test something. He hands Yuji another Sukuna finger. Without hesitation, Yuji eats it, like it's nothing. And in that moment, even Gojo is surprised, because now he knows this kid might surpass him someday. From that point on, Gojo begins teaching Yuji everything. Cursed energy control, techniques, combat principles. But what Gojo doesn't know is Yuji already has decades of experience. In fact, he might already understand cursed energy better than Gojo himself. Then comes another turning point. Gojo takes Yuji to face Jogo. Just like before, Gojo dominates the battle. He activates his domain expansion and completely overwhelms Jogo. In seconds, Jogo is defeated. But this time, something changes. Because Yuji already knows what's about to happen. Hanami is coming. And the moment Hanami appears to save Jogo, Yuji moves first. Black Flash. The attack lands directly. Hanami is caught completely off guard. Gojo pauses for a split second, confused. But there's no time to think. Gojo raises his hand. And in the next instant, Hollow Purple. Both Jogo and Hanami are completely erased. Silence. Even Gojo knows. This wasn't supposed to happen like this. After everything, Gojo takes Yuji to an empty room. His expression changes, serious. Yuji, tell me the truth. What are you hiding? Yuji doesn't hesitate. He knows this moment would come, so he tells him everything. His rebirth, the original timeline, every death, every tragedy, everything that's about to happen. At first, it sounds impossible. But then, Yuji reveals things no one else should know. Things only Gojo himself is aware of. And that's when Gojo realizes Yuji isn't lying. From that moment on, Gojo decides to trust him completely. And now, with Gojo aware of Kenjaku, the future is no longer set, because this time, they're ready. Now that Gojo knows the truth, everything changes. Instead of holding Yuji back, Gojo decides to push him to his absolute limits, because now he understands. Yuji isn't just talented, he's a once-in-history anomaly. So the first step, unlocking Yuji's full potential from his previous life. With Gojo's help, Yuji begins tracking down the remaining death-painting wombs. Piercing blood, enhanced physical abilities. Yuji is no longer just strong, he's becoming unstoppable. But in the middle of this training, Yuji suddenly remembers something, a key event. Gojo-sensei, around this time. A curse named Mahito should be born. The atmosphere changes instantly, because Yuji knows this is where another tragedy begins. Junpei. This time, Yuji refuses to let that happen. Gojo suggests sending Nanami along for safety, but Yuji immediately shuts it down. No, if Nanami comes, Mahito could use him as a hostage. I'll go alone. And just like that, Yuji heads out. He already knows everything. Mahito's plan, Junpei's house, even the hidden Sukuna finger. So the moment he arrives, Yuji doesn't waste a second. He finds the finger and eats it like it's nothing. Then, he saves Junpei. For the first time, the timeline truly breaks. But far away, Mahito realizes something is wrong. His plan has failed. And for the first time, Mahito feels something new, anger. So he does the only thing he can. He goes straight for the one person who ruined everything, Yuji Itadori. But this is exactly what Yuji wanted. The moment Mahito appears, he tries to speak, to manipulate, to play his usual games. But Yuji doesn't even let him finish. Black Flash, and then again, and again, and again. Yuji unleashes a barrage, multiple Black Flashes in succession, something even his past self struggled to do. Mahito is completely overwhelmed. Because this isn't the same Yuji. This Yuji is stronger than even his endgame version from the original timeline. Mahito tries to adapt, but he's still newly born, inexperienced, unprepared. He tries to escape, but Yuji is already ahead, piercing blood. Mahito is forced back, and before he can recover, dismantle, Yuji pushes him to the brink of death. For a moment, it looks like it's over, like Mahito is about to die right here. But at the last second, Mahito escapes, slipping away through a narrow vent, barely alive. Silence. He let him escape, but then he takes a breath, because something else has changed. Junpei is alive. For the first time, Yuji saved him. Later, Yuji offers him a choice. Come to Jujutsu High, start a new life, but Junpei just smiles. and shakes his head. I just want to live a normal life. And for once, Yuji doesn't argue. Kenjaku realizes something has gone terribly wrong. His strongest assets, his special grade curses, are gone. Jogo, dead. Hanami, erased. Mahito, almost killed. For the first time, Kenjaku is forced to adapt. He understands it now. There's a new variable in the timeline, a dangerous one. Yuji Itadori. So instead of forcing his original plan, Kenjaku changes everything. The Kyoto Goodwill event begins, and this time, it goes smoothly. No attacks, no interruptions, because Kenjaku chooses not to interfere. Meanwhile, Yuji continues to grow at an insane pace. There's only one thing left he hasn't mastered yet: domain expansion. So Gojo takes it upon himself to teach him. At first, it should have been difficult, but this is Yuji. With decades of experience, he understands the concept almost instantly, and before long, Yuji achieves something unbelievable. He learns to control domain. Now, there are two monsters standing side by side, Gojo Satoru and Yuji Itadori. Watching from the shadows, Kenjaku starts to think differently. Sealing Gojo alone won't be enough anymore. In fact, he's not even sure if that plan would work now, because now he's not dealing with one anomaly, he's dealing with two. And to make things worse, his options are shrinking. He only has a few allies left. Choso, a weakened Mahito. Even Sukuna is no longer a reliable piece, because Yuji is in control. On the other side, Yuji has reached a terrifying level. He has consumed nearly 10 Sukuna fingers. He has mastered his techniques. He has blood manipulation. He has domain expansion. At this point, Yuji is no longer catching up to Gojo. He's standing beside him. And then, the day arrives. The day that, in the original timeline, became a nightmare. Shibuya. But this time, things are different. Gojo is ready, and standing next to him is Yuji. Together they enter Shibuya Station, prepared for war, prepared for chaos, prepared for everything that's about to happen. But then, nothing happens. No enemies, no traps, no cursed spirits, just silence. For a moment, even Gojo is confused, until suddenly the truth is revealed. Kenjaku never planned Shibuya this time. Instead, he's already started something far worse. The culling game. Using Mahito, Kenjaku activates his new plan. A plan that doesn't rely on sealing Gojo. A plan that evolves beyond everything before, because this time, he's willing to take the risk. He doesn't need Gojo sealed. He wants chaos, evolution, survival of the strongest. But what Kenjaku doesn't realize is his biggest mistake has already been made. Because now, he's not just facing Gojo Satoru, he's facing something else. Something just as dangerous. A monster who already knows the future. Yuji Itadori. And this time, the game won't go the way Kenjaku expects. Now, everything comes down to one final plan. Gojo and Yuji decide, it's time to end this. Kenjaku. The two of them split up inside the culling game, because Gojo already knows, if he stays with Yuji, Kenjaku will never show himself. But on the other side, Kenjaku has his own plan. Simple. Separate Yuji, force feed him the remaining Sukuna fingers, and unleash Sukuna at full power against Gojo. To Kenjaku, everything is going perfectly, until he finds Yuji, alone, standing in the colony, waiting, and Yuji smiles, because this was their plan all along. The moment Kenjaku steps forward, the fight begins. At first, Kenjaku is confident, but that confidence shatters instantly, because what he's facing is not the Yuji he knows. This Yuji is already close to his modulo peak, nearly 80% of his full power, and that alone is enough to overwhelm almost anyone. Kenjaku tries everything, strategies, cursed techniques, manipulation, but nothing works, because Yuji already knows it all. And then, he goes all out. Black Flash, again, and again, and again. Piercing blood, dismantle. Kenjaku is pushed to the edge, and finally, Yuji ends it. Domain expansion, silence. Kenjaku, Yumi is dead. But the game isn't over, because the culling game only ends when Sukuna dies. So Yuji makes a decision. Feed me the remaining fingers, and kill me. A simple plan, a final sacrifice. But Gojo refuses.